Here.
Okay, we should be good to go at this point. I'm trying to see us on IG.
Yeah, I'm
I don't,
looking.
I don't see a shit. Oh, there we go. There's a little delay.
We there?
Yeah, I see us.
There it is. All right, let me.
We,
Yeah, we
we,
get to
we
go.
up. You know what I mean? We up.
We up. We
We,
there.
Hold on,
we
hold on.
on YouTube.
There we go.
Okay. Um, we go to
We,
TikTok
we
automatically.
on
So
the tube. You know what I'm saying? 8:38. Cause you mad late, son.
I know it's okay though. It's all right. Like
You know what I'm saying?
we'll be all right.
How do I
8:30.
do this? I don't even know how to use
I
this.
gotta mute myself.
You
Hold
said
on.
what? Yeah,
I
you
gotta
did.
mute myself.
Yeah, if you're logged onto your cell phone, you're definitely gonna have to
Yeah, I
mute
muted myself. Yep.
yourself. Why can't I see the live? I hear somebody. Somebody needs to mute.
I am. Hold on.
Oh,
I
get
don't
it.
Here
know
we go.
Instagram. Like this is crazy.
What happened?
I don't know how to share it. Supposed to be a computer professional, and yeah,
Who?
me.
You're a computer professional?
I think I am, but oh, someone's still not muted.
Yeah, I think it's Jason.
It's me. I just have the slowest computer in the world. I have to get a new one this summer.
Yes, please, because that's just
Oh my
so
god.
tacky. Brendan's over here like, well, I'm having zero issues around here.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
check,
your
1, 2.
sound's good.
I'm trying to see it on Facebook, but it's not sharing there. It's not live there.
It's live on my personal Facebook page, not on the Facebook page. That's
Huh.
oh my god, I'm finna mute you.
I already did. I'm good.
Okay. Dang.
The fuck?
Are you okay now?
I sent the request to join, but it won't let me click it. So
Request to join what?
the live, so my family can see.
When you say request to join, what do you mean?
It says send a request in tit for tat live video. Request to join the video.
Oh, okay. That's because I'm not logged into my tit for tat account right now. It's logged into my personal account.
But I mean, if I hit request to join, it still should pop up. But
It should try to do it again.
nope, it's all good though. We figured this out. Have tons of people ready to watch.
That's why we need to figure it out, duh.
Oh, I am. It just says JJ Money joined, share video, but let's see.
It's so weird. Because now I'm logged in under tit for tat. Maybe because I'm not on my phone? I don't know. I don't think we've ever done that before. Sorry.
It's all good. Let's
work that out. We have to work that out some other time. Okay, just a little bit of few technical difficulties around here, but we'll make it work.
It'll be an interesting conversation. I can see it.
I definitely think it'll be an interesting conversation. I can't even get on my own broadcast from my personal page. All right. So you're on there though. I can't get on my own? This is making me mad now. All right. Anyway, are we ready to get started?
I am
Let's go.
Officially ready. Okay. Sorry, everybody. Technical difficulties. But anyway, we're going to make it happen like we always do. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Tip Tap Podcast. My name is Carolyn. I am one of your hosts.
I am Jay, and I'm the tat and the tip for tat, and she's the tip for tat, and we go tip for tat, but she don't like that, but I love that. We got some co-hosts here. We got my namesake Jason in the building. We call him Jay. We got Brandon in the building. We're gonna talk about what interracial dating. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go.
So this is a topic that has been requested to be spoken on multiple times. And so I'm excited to get into it tonight. So, the topic, of course, the rise of interracial relationships. I really kind of want to dig into why we think that's happening. I'm really looking forward to hearing from the perspective of our guests. And before we do that, though, I want to give them the opportunity to share a little bit about themselves and their backgrounds, and then we will get right into it. So, Jason Addison, you can go first.
My name is Jason A. Full-time cybersecurity professional for U.S. government and part-time DJ. It's pretty much it about me.
What's your dating or marital status?
Oh, I'm single. That's me at the moment.
Single and dating, or
no, just single, ready to mingle.
Single and ready to mingle. Okay.
What's the DJ tag?
You say what?
What do you go by as a DJ?
J Styles.
All right.
J Styles in the building. You know how they do that? Like they do the horns after they say their name.
Got it right here.
I wish I had some horns. Do it. Do the horns real quick.
You're not set up for that right now, but next time.
Okay, we got to do it next time. Okay, one more thing. Do you mind sharing your age and where you currently live?
I am in Arlington, Virginia.
Okay, no age?
41.
Okay, awesome. Brandon, you next.
All right, my name is Brandon Beasley. I'm a real estate professional in Virginia. I lead a team of awesome realtors. We are in the investment game. We're in retail. We sell houses, help everybody out. As far as my dating life, I'm talking to somebody. I'll leave it at that. And I'm 39. I'll be 40 though next month. So watch out. The era has come to an end.
40,
Lady change when you turn 40, Slim.
40 is the new 20.
That's right. You know,
Yeah, all right.
40 is the new 30.
Not worried about it at all.
Yeah,
But
40
I live in
40.
Arlington, or Alexandria and Richmond are my two kind of home bases. And I work a little bit in Virginia Beach area, so I kind of go up and down the whole state.
Love that. Well, thank you guys we're so excited for you guys to join us tonight as we get into this very controversial topic. But first, I just want to clarify, both of you do currently date or have dated outside of your race, correct?
That I
Yes.
have, yes.
Okay. And so do you think that is it just purely like whatever attracts you about women attracts you about all women? Do you think there's some type of stereotypes or perceived things about certain types of women that you either kind of are drawn to or that you kind of avoid? What's up with dating outside your race?
It's a very open question there. I mean, when it comes to interracial dating, for me, it's just, I wouldn't even say I'm looking at the color. I'm looking at someone just who likes me for who I am. You know, if that vibe is there, that vibe is there, you know, no matter what the color of our skin is, you know. Yes, I mean, I've been, you know, hanging out more of, you know, I hate to say it like this, like in the more of the whiter crowd. So I've been talking to more of like the Caucasian women and people like that. You know, I stay away from, you know, how can I put this without sounding so disrespectful to my folks? You know, I stay away from the hood spots.
Urban is a good one.
You know, I like to stay away from that because, you know, of my job. And, you know, I like to stay around people that, you know, that don't cause trouble. You know, we cause trouble. We like to have fun. So shit, I mean, me, you know, with the clearance level I have, you know, I have to, you know, just watch where I'm at. It's not, you know, I don't want to date black women. I love them. I love my black folks. I love my black women. I have black sisters, black mother. Like it's, you know, it's just been around that crowd so much, you know, and it's just been like, all right, cool. We have this conversation. And then next thing you know, we're in a relationship.
Where'd you grow up?
City of Alexandria, T.C. Williams High School.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, Jason and I have that in common. We were like a year apart, but
Yes,
same
sir.
school, and we had the good fortune to go there. It still is the largest high school in the state, and at the time, I'm sure this is probably still true. It boasts the I think it's over 90 different countries represented in that school as far as like country of origin, not just ancestry, but actually coming from that country, and over 100 languages spoken in the hallways. So from a young age, me and Jason were like probably 14 when we started going out to TC Williams. We got to be immersed and experience, friends and girls from all over the world. So I think as we went past adolescence into adulthood, it became less of a shock to like come across a girl from, pick a spot on the map. And we probably, had a friend in high school that was from that part of the world. So it wasn't that big of a deal to develop an attraction or, enter into a dating scenario.
That's interesting. I think it's a really good point too. Okay, first of all, sidebar, because I have to tell y'all this story. When I was in college, we didn't have cable. And so we had a VCR. That's out and telling my age, but that's okay. And we had two movies, okay? We had Remember the Titans and we had Love and Basketball. And so we watched those two movies back to back at least twice a day. So at one point, I'm not exaggerating, I could literally quote Remember the Titans. Like I could quote that whole movie. And when I first moved here and I was just driving, I don't know where I was going, but I had my GPS because I didn't know my way around. And I passed TC Williams because I didn't know it was in the area. I literally almost wrecked my car. Like I was so excited because I was like, oh my gosh. And I called my sister and she was like, oh yeah, she had been here because she was at Georgetown at the time. But it was just a really very pivotal moment in my life because I was like, this is so dope. And that's a great movie. So that's my little sidebar that has nothing to do with this conversation whatsoever. But I just
that movie came out when me and Jason were in high school. And they gave the entire school access to the premiere before anybody else saw it. So we rented out the whole theater. We were all cheering like it was a real football game, screaming every time they said TC Williams. And actually, the Titans came, the real Titans, the Rev, Petey Jones, Sunshine, all those guys came to the school, the real ones, Coach Yost, Coach Boone. And I happened to be the school president at the time, so I got to go on stage, introduce them, like hang out with them. It was awesome.
That is an awesome experience. I love that. Shout out to TC Williams.
So what do your parents think about you dating outside your race? For the both of you.
I'll let Brandon go first.
Well, so I'm one of seven. I'm the oldest of seven, and all seven of us went through TC Williams. So, you got my mom's a stay-at-home. She was a stay-at-home mom. She's actually in real estate now too. But so she was very involved in all the extracurricular activities and like knew who our friends were. And you can't help when you go to TC Williams to have a rainbow of friends, just from all over, all walks of life. So, it just wasn't a thing. Honestly, it never came up. My best friend was Tim Nunn. Shout out Tim Nunn. He and I have been, he's the best man at my wedding. He's my partner in real estate because he does all my loans. We've been friends for 26 years. Talk to him every week. And, we had friends that were Black, white, Hispanic. I did AP Spanish, like college level 3 Spanish when I was a senior. So I was talking like almost fluent Spanish. So just like, it just wasn't a thing. Like, my parents were around, they would come to sporting events, and you look at any of our sports teams, they were just a rainbow, different languages, different cultures, different colors. It was just, and it just wasn't an issue because it'd be different if there was like a bunch, like if it was like half and half, or if it was like a bunch of Black kids and one white kid, or a bunch of white kids and one Black kid. But it was just a painting palette of different walks of life. So it just became normal to be around that. And it made for some interesting conversations, and we got like a kind of around the world cultural lesson in a 4-year period like I don't think anybody else does in the whole country.
I think that's a unique experience, and I think you said something there with like your environment, right? Because I have a background. I grew up in Kentucky, a small town in the mountains, population, I don't know, 2,000 maybe, something very small like that, and predominantly white. So growing up, I was all the Black kids, boys, girls, whatever. I was related to all of them. So all my crushes and all that kind of little childhood sweetheart type of thing was always white guys, right? And even my very first, serious boyfriend when I was a junior in high school, we dated to my freshman year in college. My first pretty much everything was a white man. You know, I mean, obviously we were young, we were just fresh out of high school. But that was kind of like all I was really exposed to growing up in the little town that I grew up in. And I didn't start dating black guys until we broke up. And then I'm at the University of Kentucky, and there's, now there's more diversity there. And I start dating black guys. And honestly, that's when shit started going left. My white boyfriend, I mean, we were young, but he was an excellent like first boyfriend. And I was just used to a certain level of treatment and standard because that was all I knew from dating him. And then when I started dating black guys, that changed. There was a significant difference. And I didn't honestly really know how to handle it because I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, my boyfriend used to do blah, 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 or he never did blah, blah, blah. And now all of a sudden it's this. And there was a significant difference. And I'm not saying that to say like dating white men it's better than dating black men or anything like that. I love my black men. White men are cool too. What I'm saying is since we're talking about the rise of racial relationships, I see a lot more, and the statistics show that a lot more black women are dating outside their race as well, and particularly dating white men.
Jay, what do your parents think?
My mom, when I first brought a non-black to the house, she was a little shocked. I mean, like I said, my family is pretty much all black. I think my cousin, she was the first one to date interracial, like with a white guy, but that's my cousin. But my mom, she was a little shocked. But then, she came around. She saw how happy I was. She was like, "Yeah, I seen you date some other girls in the past, and you weren't as happy as you are right now." She's like, "So what makes this different?" I'm just like, "I don't know. It's just like that energy I'm getting." Like back in the day, I used to go to all the nightclubs, Platinum nightclub, all them little H2O and all them. Like I used to be
love,
so it used to have some good girls in there, but then you have your ratchet ones, and I used to come across the bad ones and like the ones that have me in the hood, like I'm getting shot at and things like that. I'm scared for my life, and I'm like, this is not for me. But like with that being said, the question is like when I brought her home, my mom was like, as long as you're happy, I really don't care. Like Brandon said, like the city of Alexandria is very diverse. I mean, you have every nationality, every ethnicity here. And so, I'm the type of person that likes to dabble. And so that's where I am. And like I said, she's been happy. She's like, as long as I'm happy, she really doesn't care. I mean, I do have like my cousins, like my female cousins in the family are like, "Oh, why are you dating a white girl?" Or, you should stick to your sisters. But, I tell them, I don't see dating outside of my race. I don't see color. I click, if it's something deep there, then I'm going to connect with that person.
Have you ever asked your family members why they have an adversity to you dating outside of your race, in particularly,
I mean, of course I've asked them. I mean,
So what do they say?
They just like, we would like to see you with a black queen. I mean, that's pretty much the answer I get from them. I understand what they're saying, but I'm just like, this is just who I am. I'm going to love who loves me. I mean, if it's a black queen, it's a white queen, it's a Latin queen, like whoever's bringing that same energy I'm trying to give, that's where it's at, and they understand that.
But what does that mean? Like, I mean, I get that's like the default answer. We'd rather see you with a black queen. Why? Like, what does that mean? Why is that important? Like, have they ever gone into any type of detail about that?
No, I've never really asked that question. That's going to be something I'm gonna write down and make sure I ask them. I really never asked them that. Just like we ever like to see you with the black queen. That's pretty much like the answer I get. But at the end of the day, they're still happy. They're very taken in of this person that I'm dating when I'm dating someone.
You said this twice already, and it's interesting. You say you don't see color. Why is that, and what does that mean to you?
See, a lot of people are like, "Oh, bro, you're dating a white girl. Why? Is it because of this, because of that?" Like, no, I'm dating someone because of who they are. What they're giving me. That's that same love I'm trying to give them. I don't see them, being, oh, they're white, so they how can I put it? They're white, so they got good credit or whatever. I don't know. It's just I date them because of who they are. It's not. I'm not seeing them, because I think they're going to be put me in a better situation. It's I'm dating for who they are. People are like, oh, you're dating because you want to get ahead in life. I'm like, no.
Do you think a person's color is part of who they are?
I mean, of course it is, but we're talking about the relationship aspect of things.
Right.
I mean, of course, the color is who they are, but I mean, when it comes to loving someone, I'm not loving them off their color. I'm seeing beyond that. I'm going to love them for who they are.
Well, there's almost like 3 levels to it because when you meet a girl, initially you don't know anything about her other than what she looks like. So I think some guys have preferences, and I'm not even talking about race. I could mean like hairstyle, obviously race, but then like, body type, height, all these different things. And race is certainly a factor. And Jason and I have talked about this. We just happen to have a pretty wide variety of tastes. I think there's beautiful women in every culture. I have slight preferences. I tend to lean to certain, kind of groups. I've kind of found that over time. But I've seen girls from all over the world that are all beautiful. But then once you get past that surface level, sort of get into personality and culture, and then that bleeds into like character and values, which is the 3rd level. And I do think sometimes, and this might be where Jason's parents are coming from, is when you see someone that looks like you assume you have similar cultural background or even similar values as like kind of a like innate primordial assumption, like, because we generally are kind of, we want to hang around and be around people that are like us. And when someone looks like you kind of, from an evolutionary standpoint, assume they are like you.
Okay.
You mentioned preferences. I definitely want to dig into that a little bit. What are your preferences?
I mean,
would like
fell
to get
victim
into that
to the
specifically.
Kim Kardashian era. So like anything, like North African, Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, Persian, Latina, that like tan skin, dark hair, bonus points if they have like, light colored eyes, but I'm not that picky. I just love the kind of exotic, look. That's probably my main preference. But again, I kind of joked with you guys not too long ago. You could take a dart and blindfold yourself and throw it at a map. And I've probably dated a girl whose either family or herself was from 100 miles of that area, because I've been on a lot of dates. I mean, you do that in the DC, Virginia, Maryland area, you're just bound to come across people from the Indo-Pacific, Asia, Middle East, and I've had girlfriends literally from every continent probably, but Australia and Antarctica, all over. And you just, over time, part of it's exploratory. You're not looking for one thing. You're just trying different things out. And then after 25 years of dating, I started when I was 15. You eventually start to realize like, oh, I keep choosing a lot of people that look like this. That's interesting. And it's just a superficial, it's like liking certain flavors of like ice cream or gummy bears or something. You just happen to like that. You can't really explain why. You didn't choose why. You just know like, oh, I have a thing for like Italian, Lebanese, Iranian, Afghan. Like you just like a certain look. And it could be influenced by like maybe a movie I watched when I was like 15 and I got my, I was like, attracted to a girl for the first time, and it just kind of made an imprint. Who knows what causes that? But that's what I've noticed over time.
Jason, do you have a preference?
I mean, the last few girls I've dated, they were white, but I really don't have a preference. But if we're going to a little blonde, blue eyes, I want someone fit, like Brandon said, I've been through that Kim Kardashian that time also, we all been through that. I mean, right now it's just, my preference is someone that's just fit. That's what I look for right now. Like I said, it's just not confined to, the white women or whatever. It's right now I'm open to whatever, but that's my preference. Someone that's, if I'm going to date someone, if like for a white girl come up to me, like, oh, that's what I'm looking for in her, if that makes sense.
Yes, I want to talk a little bit about some things that you said earlier, in particular things like associating urban areas or women with ghetto. Or what'd you say? No, you said ghetto. You said
Good.
ratchet. I heard the word ratchet a couple times. Okay, and
Nah.
even then when you were referring to white women, you said something along the lines of that there's an association there of having good credit as a white woman or as a black man dating a white woman trying to come up. So there's these stereotypes that even though you may not acknowledge them,
No, that
but
wasn't.
you know about them. So subconsciously, do you think that could be influencing your dating
No,
decisions?
that was
Because
a hypothetical with
Yeah,
the.
Jason, explain yourself.
yeah, because
That was
Where's the
as
just
popcorn at? Where's
as
the
a black
popcorn?
woman, I'm feeling a
that
little bit
was just
offended
something I
over
had to throw
here.
out there. Like
Okay.
people were like, no, people have asked that question, like, oh, why are you dating a white girl? Because like she has good credit, you trying to get yourself together with that? I'm like, no, like that's what people see, you know, they think because I'm dating somebody outside of my race, I'm looking to get something from it or benefit from something from that. No, that's not it. Like I
Because
said,
there is this association subconsciously within the black community that
nah.
is a good thing. Like that's good. Like there are these qualities that are associated with whiteness that tend to
So
be on the good side compared to the qualities that are associated or the stereotypes that are associated with blackness that tend to be on the bad side.
no, I mean, there's some amazing women out there. I mean, like it's just right now, this is just where I am. I mean, that was just a hypothetical I threw out there because you was asking me a question. I don't mean none of that when I said it was just all right. This
Hey,
is what
Jason,
you assume.
let me ask you a question. So when
Go ahead.
you're dating girls and you're going on dates and you're kind of choosing, who you want to approach, who you want to ask out, who you want to, circle back to, or enter a relationship with, like, is it just like, are you putting a lot of thought into any of like, the race, the hair color, a lot of that, or is it just kind of like a spur of the moment, like, you don't even think about it. It's just, oh, like she's hot. Like, are you thinking she's hot and then you get to know her, or is there some strategy there where you're like, you kind of know ahead of time, like you're keeping an eye out for white girls because that's what you like?
Now it's just if I got to be attracted to you first before I try to bring anything into this. I mean, if I'm attracted to that person, then that's when I start to build my roadmap. But that's how I go into it. I'm just not going to go in and start talking like, all right, let's see where we can go from here. If I'm not attracted to you from the get go, then there's not going to be anything there.
Have you
To both of y'all, do you find it either one of y'all? Do y'all find it easier to approach one or the other, or is it approaching women? Is it all the same across the board? Do you find one race or one culture easier than another? What is that like?
Brand, you want to go? Or you want to go?
don't
Yeah,
be trying to divert?
oh, dude, like, well, first of all, like the more attractive a girl is, they tend to be harder to approach in general. Forget the race for a second, just because they're so used to getting attention from guys that they kind of roll their eyes, like another guy's like wanting to talk to me or ask how I'm doing or buy me a drink. But when it comes to like differences between races, as a white guy, I think a lot of black women are not used to white men approaching them, and I think they're kind of flattered, or it's like a pattern interrupt for them, so they tend to be really open. It's almost like a like a novelty. They're like, oh, this is cool, this guy's into me and I'm not used to that, so they're really like fun and they're like, this is awesome, and they really have a good time with it. Whereas a lot of white girls can be stuck up, I'm not gonna lie, like when especially in the DC area, they're used to having their DMs and their inbox just full of people that are willing to do anything to take them out or buy them anything or whatever. So when you try to approach a white girl, she's just like another guy. She just sees another face. But I think that like when there's a difference in race or culture, there's kind of like an intrigue there that makes them like kind of curious. Like, let me talk to this guy for a second and give him a shot and see what he's talking about. And that tends to happen more often than not, in my experience.
Okay. Okay. Jason, J
Run that
style.
question by me one more time. I was
So, is there any particular race or culture that you find easier to approach when meeting a woman?
To be honest, I find talking to black women a lot easier. And I say that because, like I said, my family is pretty much all black. And like I have sisters, I talk to all the time about anything. I can talk to them about anything. So like I have like some people say I have a little swagger with me when I talk, like, so, like the black folks know where I'm coming from when I'm having that conversation with her, when I approach her. Like, oh yeah, okay, cool. You have this little twang to it, you got a little slang to it with it, and so I feel comfortable talking to black women, approaching them. But, like when it comes to white women, to be honest, I don't approach them. I always have a wingman with me. They're like, yo, you see that right there? Go put the bird right there for me. I mean,
I'm sorry.
because I've been I tried that once and it did not work. Like the white girl I scared her away.
This is interesting. So do you send Brandon over because he's disarming? Would you send Brandon over to the white women and get him to get
And
that
I
entry
would,
in, and then you just slide in there? Then is that how that works?
I would, because you see how Brandon talks. Like he's very debonair with it. Like he can actually talk. Like me, I get straight to the point. I'm like, all right, let's do this right here and there. I mean, I don't, I'm just like, I have ADHD. Like I'm ready to get it over with. Like, let's do this. I can't sit still and just have that conversation. Like,
but you can do it with a black woman. Is that just because you're just used to being around black women more?
Yes.
Because you're a black man, or
I'm a black man. I'm used to being around black women. It's just, it's different, especially in the DMV. It's just, you just never know what type of person you will get, because I mean.
Do you think where you grew up has affected your dating life and who you date? If you were to say, I grew up a little bit more down south or in an all black neighborhood or an all white neighborhood, do you think where you live affects, and where you grow up affects who you date, et cetera, et cetera?
No.
Yeah, I think as a general matter of speaking, where you grow up and who you associate with may have some impact on that in general. But I think me and Jason are just a little bit different. We like, like, and maybe it is where we're from, just being in a diverse environment growing up. But we just like new things, shiny objects. We like, like we'll be at like a social gathering, and you can see our eyes on a swivel. We're like, oh, check that out, or oh, she looks fun, or like, oh, that group looks cool. And it's not even like we're targeting a certain whatever. It's just we like to have different people to talk to and learn from and interact with, and part of that is race, and part of that's culture, and it's interesting to learn new things, and it creates because you get tired of, if you had the same people that look like you, talk like you, think the same way you do, have the same culture as you. There's only so much you can talk about before you're just kind of repeating yourself over and over again and having the same conversation. But when you talk to somebody that's from a different part of the world, a different part of the country, who maybe like has a different religion, different politics, different sports teams, thinks about life a different way, it creates really interesting conversations that I think are more meaningful than just, we wake up, we go to work, we finish work at 5, we go to happy hour, we watch the Commanders play on weekends, and we're all, and it's just the same. You have everything in common. That's boring to me. I like the variety.
I agree with that. I'm about to put all the men on the spot, including my co-host Jason Moore. All right, let's play a little game. All of you have dated black women. All the men that are tuned in right now to the show, I would like for you guys in one word to sum up your experience with dating black women. One word. And we're going to do it with non-black women also. So if you need a moment to think about that, then you got 30 seconds to come up with one word that describes your experience dating black women. I'm going to play my Jeopardy music in a second.
Fantastic.
Write down a few and choose which one I want to use.
All right, we got fantastic. Let's see if anybody's participating in the chat. Let's see. I know we got some men on here. Don't nobody want to participate?
Yeah,
one woman that describes your experience dating black women. Choose your words wisely, brother. One thing about this show is we are genuine, we are authentic, we are no filter. and we don't judge. What's that little thing that was going around? We listen, but we don't judge. We try not to judge.
I
But
got my definite answer, my response.
you ready to
Go ahead,
share
what?
it?
I mean, whenever everyone's done, I mean, I'm ready.
I did mine. Go
I'll
ahead.
say enthusiastic, like just a good time,
Okay.
outgoing, like never wanting to just sit around and chill, like always got something to say, something to talk about, something to do. Just high intensity, jovial, vivacious, energetic.
That's a
I
lot of
know.
work.
Enthusiastic. I'm like,
Enthusiastic. Okay.
enthusiastic.
Enthusiastic. All right.
Let's go, Jay Styles.
I mean, my one word I would use, I would say joyful, because when Black women and a man get together, well, a Black man and a Black woman get together, they can be very joyful together, very joyous together.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's what I miss. Like, I miss that joyfulness, like going out, doing things, like let's go to brunch, get drunk, bow, let's enjoy that, But like I said earlier, I had to take a break from all that because of what I do. I mean, I don't know my limits when it comes to, having a good time, as you've seen before. So yeah, I would just say joyful, joyous.
Are y'all associating Black women with the turn up? Like, help me out here. Like,
Oh,
I hear
yes,
jovial, enthusiastic, like to do things.
Yeah, whenever
like
you go to an event where it's like a mixed crowd, who are the ones that are like having a good time, louder, dancing, moving around, making conversation, like doing things? It's the Black
Mhm.
girls. And if it's a mixed crowd, a lot of times the white girls are just sitting there with their drink all like this, looking around, like judging everybody else, not really doing anything. Yeah, and that's
Really?
why they're harder to approach.
Because I'm seeing the opposite these days.
Really?
What do you mean by that?
Well, maybe it's the spot
Yeah.
that I go to.
Yes.
Who knows?
What are you saying?
Huh? What am I
Yes, you
saying?
said, like, what do you describe what you're saying?
Nobody literally dances anymore. Every spot that I go to, everybody's sitting around, sitting on their phone, like posing for the damn social medias.
Yeah, so you're
You know, the
hanging around younger
internet.
girls then. You're hanging
Ooh,
around like the
ooh.
the 20 something. I don't mean that young. I'm talking about like the college and post college age girls, because they are like that.
These are people my
Oh,
age,
Where are you going?
35 and
And you're
up.
going to mixed crowd places. Please tell me where. Where are you going to mixed crowd places where you're seeing Black and white women
No, I don't go to. I don't get to. I don't. If all right, out of every 5 spots that I may go to, one may be a mixed crowd.
Okay.
And the only reason why I don't go to more places that have a mixed crowd is not because of the crowd, but because of the music.
Okay. I feel you on that.
Like I can only take so much EDM, so much. Like I'm a hip hop R&B guy. I don't know what to tell you. Like I diversify, but I can only go for so long.
Right. Okay. Okay. It's a lot to process here. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to figure out where I would like to go next with all of this. Well, let's get into it. There's a lot of controversy, it seems like, with I'm going to pick on the Black men for a second, just in terms of, in particular, athletes and Black men that are public figures, dating non-Black women. We're seeing that a lot. And what do we think? Why do we think that is? Because I've been doing some research and I have some theories. But I'd like to hear from the gentleman. Why do you think that a lot of Black men who have status and or money are dating outside of their race instead of dating Black women?
Because white women, especially in the South, versus black women, white women are playing chess and black women playing checkers. And I'll
expand on that.
And I'll elaborate. Mm-hmm. Let's just take the NFL, right? Majority Black, but most of the football players in the league are from the Midwest South, right? By the numbers, the majority of black cities with the majority black population or a heavy black population are your urban areas. So these football players are going to schools that are majority either white or like maybe half and half, maybe. Now at these schools, and I'm talking about I'm talking about high school right now.
Okay.
And I'll use Texas as an example. Unless you're in Dallas or Houston, if you're going to maybe high school in Katy, Texas, that high school in Katy is majority white. But most of the football players there, they're going to Division I and or to the NFL. The white girls are already attached themselves to these men.
So there's some intention there. Is what you're saying.
Very much
From
so.
the white.
And it's not just their parents are like, listen, it's they're groomed to go after, hey, you want to get out of this situation, you need to go ahead and get with Bobby Joe, the fullback, because he's going to the NFL. He's definitely going high Division I. And so they'll follow this person to college. Most of the guys that get drafted and you see their wife, and if the guy's black and the girl's white, that white girl's been with him since high school or at least freshman year in college.
Okay.
It's not like they're not. Let me put it like this: they're not brand new.
So black women are not being intentional about these type of men. They're not. Their mindset is not like, let me go get me an athlete or someone that's going to be going to the next level in their sports career.
And not just intentional, and maybe a little naive, or not just listen. You don't really know. Our culture, you know what I'm saying? We don't really put you on a pedestal until you're on the pedestal. You feel me? Like I can tell you how many guys I know that play professional sports and play college D1. I don't really put them on a pedestal. I mean, I knew them back then. So we really don't do that in the first.
You're also in the sports world, because I would say that too. Like I was never impressed with, I went to University of Kentucky, like college basketball mecca. Like you're going there, you're definitely going pro, more than likely. So, but that never impressed me because I was already an athlete who already came from some level of status as far as athletics and stuff is concerned in my own right. So I think that is something different. But like, so when you say we don't know, are you saying that we like black people or even black, college women or whatever don't understand that, or high school don't understand the dynamics of how athletics can lead to that level? Or
I'm not saying they don't understand the dynamics of it. I just don't think you got to understand our world and our culture. We live in an emergency state. So in order to be strategic in that manner, it's beyond our thinking at the moment. We live in a right now type of mind state, at least most of us. And so if you're in a right now mind state, you're not thinking about what are ways to change my future?
Okay. And so you're saying that we as a culture are typically in that mindset.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back to that.
So it's hard to play chess. You're playing chess.
I'd like to hear from the other gentleman on the panel on the same question.
Yes, please. Love to. Yes, please.
Run that question by me one more time, please.
Why are black men that are of status?
Why are professional athletes with white women? She trying to dress this shit up. Why are athletes, most of them black and white women?
I would say non-black women.
Right, so I mean,
yeah,
I've heard this, and I've had a conversation with like people at work about this. They say it's not even about athletes. I mean, why are black men dating white women? and I think it was Dr. Umar, he brought this up. He said, because, like you said, white women are playing chess, black women are just playing checkers. White women will find a black man when he's down and help him build himself up. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been in that situation. When I was on to my last dime, I ran into a white girl, dated, moved in with her, and she helped build me up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got put out by a black girl, and like, that's where things kind of switched for me.
Now we have the origin story of Jason.
Why did you get put out? Right. Okay. We're gonna dig into that a little bit, but why did you get put out? Let's start.
Okay, that's what I
figured. Let's start, because there's always an origin. I fucks with Brandon because there's always an origin story. Trust and believe.
No, it's because like,
there can be several, but there's
I did
always
not have a path in life. That's why.
Okay, so you didn't have any direction. You weren't.
I had no
doing
direction.
Anything. Were you sitting around playing video games? Like, be real.
Much.
Like, what was going on? Okay.
Going out partying, no path. It didn't like
Did she give you an opportunity to?
There was none. Yo, pack your ish and go. You know, that's how it was.
How long were you guys together before that happened?
A year and some change, a year and a half. So, I mean, like I'm saying, like Dr. Umar said, he's like, yeah, white women will build a black man up. And when he gets to where he want to be, they will stick with him. You know, but then he said also, like, black women want to find a man that's already built up, which is nothing wrong with that. You know, we don't want, I know women don't want to play, you know, this, I need to build a man, but you know, a lot of black men do need help. Shit, I'm not gonna lie, I needed help. And that's why, you know, that's how I can kind of see it in both ways, like what Jason said, and you know, kind of where I'm coming from. You know, that's how it is. I mean, a lot of folks I talk to that's dating white women right now, black guys, they're like, yeah, she helped me get to where I'm at.
She was there when I was shooting in the gym.
Yeah, they're lurking to see if you had a good shot and if you was gonna potentially go somewhere with it, not rebounding and shit like the black women would be doing. Don't get me started.
But you're not even in it, but the black women are not even in the gym.
That's not true at all.
I'm telling you, I literally just explained it to you. You don't take it personal. Don't take it personal, Carolyn.
I'm not, but I am going to speak from the perspective of a black woman.
The gym. They're not in the gym early on. They're latching on to these guys in high school when either there's a lack of black women or the black women are just not interested. Because I grew up with this dude. I know him. I don't want him. You got to understand the dynamics when you live. Let me ask you something, Carolyn. You grew up in a small town, right? 2,000 people?
Mm-hmm.
How many black men were in your neighborhood? How many black men you go to school with?
10, maybe.
Right. You knew them all, right?
Correct.
Why you ain't get one of them?
Because they were all related to me. It's not just I knew them all. They were all related to me.
Boom.
But when I had a white boyfriend. But when I went to college and we broke up, I haven't dated.
No, Carolyn, you're not understanding my point. You're not understanding my point. You're taking it personal. I'm not knocking the fact that you ended up with a white boy. What I'm saying is you ended up with a white boy because of lack of fucking options.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? When you are in these small towns, you went on and had a great basketball career. If you were a guy, it's the same thing for most male athletes. They come from small towns and blow up to become these great athletes, especially if you look at the NFL, I would say minimum 50% are from the Midwest or in the South that are in the NFL. Minimum. And most of those dudes did not go or live in predominantly black neighborhoods. So which is why I asked earlier about do we think where you grow up affects who you date?
Mm-hmm.
I wholeheartedly think that. Because if there's a lack of freaking options,
right,
that's what you know.
And you combine that with, we're talking a lot about the female point of view right now, like why like a white girl might go after a professional athlete or just an athlete in general. And from the male's point of view, you got to think about it like this. Women are way more selective than men are in general. Like and the data is in the dating apps. Guys swipe left and right on average 50% of the time, half and half. Girls will swipe once every 20 swipes to the right. So it's literally by a factor of 10. They're 10 times more selective from the data. And you add into that, if you have a southern town with like, only a handful of black guys and a bunch of white girls, maybe they might be interested, just out of curiosity or whatever. But there's reaches a certain point because the guys' options are already limited because of the selectivity imbalance. Then you throw the race card in there, and now you have even less options because some girls are going to have that preference one way or the other, and the guy may too. But then all of a sudden you become a star. You hit maybe junior, senior year, you're getting scouted by colleges. Then you go to college and you're Division I and you're actually a star. A lot of those guys make more than professional athletes now, and they're getting commercials. So out of nowhere, you go from having very limited options to be able to choose anything you want in the world because you have girls throwing themselves at you left and right in your DMs everywhere you go. People are stalking you. You walk up to anybody just because of your height, they already know, oh, he's D1 basketball player. So I think a lot of times these black athletes will get to a certain status point. There's like a tipping point where you go from being like an athletic guy who plays sports to a star. And the second that happens, they go, now I have all these options. I want what I didn't have in, earlier in life, which is, be able to choose whoever I want. And you're going to choose something that maybe you didn't get a chance to experience earlier in your life. And that's how it matches up. You combine that with maybe a little bit of predation amongst certain, women that see the athlete as a ticket to the top or to a lifestyle they want with luxury and travel and status. And it's a recipe for fill in the blank, disaster or success or something. But it's that's why you see it a lot.
Well, it depends on what perspective you're looking at it from. If you're looking at it from the perspective of a black woman, it looks one way. If you're looking at it from the lens of like the black community as a whole, or from a cultural aspect, it looks one way. And we've kind of talked about this before, because when those men go on to marry non-white women, now their wealth building doesn't stay within the black community. It's going somewhere else. It's not staying within our community. And that's, if you're looking at it through that type of lens, then that's obviously negatively impacting the black community.
But you're talking about people, you're talking to a 17, 18, 21-year-old kid that don't know nothing about no wealth, much less generational wealth or wealth or money leaving his culture. They're not thinking about that. You come from nothing. You're thinking about what you can get right now.
I'm not arguing that point. I'm just saying, depending on what perspective you're looking at it from. And then I definitely want to go to, because I don't think that it's all necessarily preference. Like, that's just my personal opinion. I think going back to like what Jason said, that I think that there is sometimes a connection between some trauma that black men have experienced with black women, and particularly a lot of those black men don't have good relationships with their moms. And they oftentimes, and this is studies, I've researched this, these are like all what studies are showing us, it's not like my personal opinion. And they oftentimes associate black women with some type of struggle, right? Or some type of adversity. And their attachment style, based on the trauma that they definitely don't address, is now looking at something different than what they've experienced as far as a black woman growing up, as something that's more safe, more secure, more sound. And therefore, that's kind of another reason why they're going in that direction. What do you guys say about that?
Like you said, that's your opinion.
I said this is facts. This is studies.
Okay. I won't say I'm part of that, because me and my mom have the best relationship. We've always had it. That's like my best friend. Like we all parents, we go through things, but we've never had that to push me away from wanting to date another race. Like, that's nothing me and my mom ever had. Like, my family's so open and giving, like no one in my family's ever done anything to make me like, I don't want to date black women because of how y'all act. I love the way my sisters act, my mother act, my cousins, like they're strong black queens, but it's just, that's just the preference I choose, no one or anyone has made me want to move away from our black women. That's just, I love my black women. You know, this is just something. I don't know if it's a phase. It might be a phase I'm going through. You know, it's just who knows. But no, there's nothing there, no trauma there that will ever push me away from loving black women.
It's
So I might be
interesting
able to
that-
like
Oh, go
soften.
ahead.
Sorry, what were you saying?
No, you go ahead.
Maybe I could soften it a little bit as far as like some of the statistics. I don't know the statistics, but I'm saying interpreting the statistics that you just cited. I do think a lot of times attraction and life choices when it comes to dating, at the end of the day, I mean, Freud, I think things come back to the mom as a man. And I do think that I don't think it's controversial to say that like fatherless homes has been an issue that's been pervasive for many years in the Black community. And I think one of the impacts of that, it forces Black women to be a little stronger and have to kind of play mom and dad at the same time. They have to be the disciplinarian and they have to be the nurturer. And a lot of times that subconsciously can be a little confusing because you're seeing almost like a masculine side to your mom because she has to be strong for the family and work and do all the things that like normally maybe a dad would do. And then as you get older, we're still men at the end of the day. Men seek femininity. And if you're looking for things like passiveness, calmness, quietness, like all these things that maybe it's controversial to say, men like a lot of these very passive, feminine, quiet, dainty, supportive, nurturing things in women. And if their association with Black women is through their mom, and they see that as a symbol of strength and maybe assertiveness and aggressiveness, because they were the disciplinarian, subconsciously they're going to seek out the opposite of that, or just avoid Black women in general because they associate it with dominance and assertion and masculinity, and seek out white girls because maybe white girls to them in their subconscious mind because their upbringing are more feminine.
I
disagree
agree
with
to
that.
a certain extent. I agree to a certain extent, but let me tell you where I disagree. I think your parents, in particular your mother, does directly affect who you date. But I think whether or not you date somebody like her or opposite of her depends on how you feel about yourself. I strongly feel like my mom is strong, smart. She's all the things. She's one of the strongest people I know, right? Mentally, physically, all the things. The women that I like are just like that, right? And thinking about, and I've thought about why do I like that? And it's not just because of my mother, but also because I feel like I'm good with myself.
Mm.
I'm good with how she raised me. I'm not perfect, but I'm good with me.
I'm
And
curious.
so,
Are you like Jason and you date a lot of white girls? Or are you more like
not
mixed?
actually, nah. To be honest with you, and I don't know if that's. I think it's layered,
Yeah.
but the spaces that I'm often in, I'm more surrounded by Black women.
Yeah. And now let me
Right?
ask you another question out of curiosity. Do both
But
of
those
you
Black women are also the ones that I'm most attracted to
like your
are
mom?
smart and very ambitious.
Yeah.
And that's a reflection of my mother, but also by myself. But go ahead.
Were you for like the first, like, let's call it like through high school, were both of you raised with two-parent households, or was there a single mom situation?
Both parents were in my house. Yep.
See, that's interesting. Jason, what about you?
Nope, just my mom.
See, there you go. There's the disparity. You had probably a strong mother, but a healthy balance with the father that fulfilled that masculine role model for you. So your mom became that symbol of what you look for in a girl, which is how Freud interpreted it. Jason,
Yeah.
if you were raised by a single mom, the only thing you knew was your mom as the disciplinarian and the house. So everything was like masculine, feminine, father figure, female figure. Everything was in your mom. So now you seek out only like the the things you interpret to be
Oh no, and I don't
distant from
disagree
that
with that.
masculine role
I
model.
don't disagree with that. I'm with you, but I think there's another part to that, and I think that also goes back to how you feel about yourself,
Sure.
and then your reflection and how you feel about women. There's guys who two parent household women that just don't like women,
True.
especially nowadays.
Yeah.
And it's evident. It's like you don't like women, right? For whatever reason. Um, and they may come from great parents or just a great mom.
Right.
But I also think that hatred also, and you may have a terrible relationship with your mother, but that doesn't mean what you meet outside is going to be like that.
No,
Right.
nothing's true in every situation, but
But that's what I'm saying, though.
there are
So,
studies that
but
link
it
that.
goes back
Though.
to how you feel about yourself.
Right, and that's another thing that goes back to those traumas that we experience as a child that end up directly impacting how we love and who we love. Because there are some men who, because of that trauma, they seek to date non-Black women as some sort of validation. Right?
Validation of what?
Validation of that they've made it, that they are of a certain level or status, because white women are seen as, and like this ties into what Eddie said in the chat. He said, we have been socialized to believe that white women are the best. So they're already prized in society as the best, right? So if you, as a Black man, have grown up with trauma and has impacted your level of self-worth and self-esteem, which many times that's what trauma does, right? Then you are more likely to think that, or more likely to gravitate towards that than you would, a Black woman or someone of your race. And that's also studies show that too.
I don't think it's very conscious. I don't think,
it's not.
As a man, I don't think I'm thinking, like, what does this, like, me liking this girl say about me, or what am I looking for that I don't have? I think you just kind of like what you like, and it's not even a conscious choice. You just happen to have that innate attraction to somebody, and then you can leave it to a psychologist to figure out why that is, if why we have our preferences. But
I think as you progress and get older, I think you'll find that is kind of flawed. You are a direct reflection of who you attract.
Yeah, there's the mirror effect, right?
You see what I'm saying? In multiple ways, right? It is not coincidence that you are with such and such, or you're attracting such and such. There's a reason why a lot of times when we look at our dating history of who's been our girlfriends, there is a
pattern.
Right. Yeah. That's not by accident, right? So right. We could look at and say, or look at why are you dating these, or what are you attracting? Because whatever it is, it's a reflection of yourself, good or bad, right?
Yeah.
So I think once you get to the heart of that, this is where people, and this is where when you go see a therapist, they start to unpack, but they start there, right? Like they start unpacking. All right, it's because it's something about you, and it's usually, and it may be something parental, positive or negative.
Yeah. I think you do attract, because I read that you attract people that expose through your interactions, like a mirror, your childhood wounds. So those childhood wounds could be just as simple as, you were dismissed a lot, like you didn't get to explain yourself, or you didn't get enough attention, or you got too much attention, you were babied and pampered all the time. There's a lot of different things that affect how you grow up. And I think that creates the inner child, who you are as an adult, but you still have that little kid on the inside. And then subconsciously that can steer you towards certain girls. Because you're right. I look back, over the years of who I've dated and things, you do see patterns emerge. And I do think there's something that just happens where it starts with attraction, but then it becomes the dynamic of the relationship. Those patterns are saying something about me, because the person I'm attracted to is designed by that coupling of our personalities and our values to bring out the wounds and expose the wounds, like a mirror of what's inside me that was maybe unaddressed, post childhood. It's fascinating.
I may have seen my mother wear full makeup, like a makeup full face 5 times in my lifetime. Maybe. It is not a coincidence that I just do not like makeup, or a lot of makeup on a woman. Mm-hmm. That is not a coincidence. Yeah. That's not what I'm used to seeing. My mother never got a weave. I didn't know what a weave was till I got to college. So
weave is
If,
associated with black women, but
white women get them too, but I'm just
that's
talking
what I'm
about in
saying,
general.
Or
Yeah, white
extensions.
women get weaves too. It wasn't about a black or white thing.
They call them extensions.
Right, extensions, whatever.
Extensions.
I just didn't know what they were until I got to college, but I know I don't like them.
Yeah.
It's not something that I like. I don't like a lot of makeup on women, not just black women, white women, all women. I don't like a lot of makeup.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I prefer none.
Yeah.
Like that's just me. But I know where I get that from. Because I didn't grow up seeing that.
Yeah. And I think even as a woman, like my mom didn't wear a lot of makeup, so we don't. I have two younger sisters. We don't wear a lot of makeup either. Like I'll be with some of my friends sometimes, and it's like they'll start working on their makeup like an hour before we're supposed to leave. To wherever we're going to. Meanwhile, I'll be like, okay, all I need is like 10 minutes and I'm done because I don't need to do all of that. I don't do all of that. I don't have the patience for it. But also because my mom didn't wear a lot of makeup. So I think that's also something that you just kind of conditioned to do based on what you see. But all those kind of things do impact like how we move as adults, right? And I want to go back to, because we don't have a ton of time left, but I wanted to talk about, because you saying the weave thing brought up a point that I wanted to get into as in terms of like beauty standards, right? Because that's another thing as I was doing my research, when we look at what is considered beautiful via social media, via society, via commercials, we are overwhelmed with like Eurocentric beauty standards, right? And so some of the research that I was saying, by 5 years old, they did a study. You guys have probably seen it before, where they took a bunch of kids and they put them in a room and they gave them a white doll and a black doll, right? I don't know what it's called, but it's like a study that most people are familiar with. So by 5 years old, white is already considered the prettier doll, the better behaved doll, it's already like by 5, you're already conditioned to think that white is better, prettier, whatever. So in terms of interracial dating, do you guys think that you're more attracted to white women because you consider their features more beautiful? Like, and even within our black community, light skin, long hair. Like, if it's not white, it's light skin is the preference. Long hair is the preference. Long straight hair, like not long curly hair or whatever the case may be. These are all things that are prized or highlighted as good or attractive or beautiful within the black community. So that is something that's negatively impacting black love as a whole, because a lot of black women are feeling like they're less than in a lot of ways. Comments, questions? Do y'all think that white women are more beautiful than black women?
No, not at all. I would tell you that right now. And no offense, Brandon. White women just don't have the bodies of black women.
On average, yeah, you're right.
They trying though. They give it the old college.
I see some white girls in the gym whose bodies off the chain.
I see some white girls walking around.
I'm like, okay.
I'm all
okay,
about
walking around.
I want someone that's all natural beauty. I don't want someone with a BBL.
No, I'm with you. Absolutely.
Yes, I mean,
absolutely.
To a woman, I want someone with a figure, a body, like something I want to show off when we out in public. You were like, damn, like that's where it's at. Like, so no, black women will in my opinion, they will always have that crown. They will never ever lose that, because like it's just natural. They come out the womb just like, yeah, we about to take over, I mean, and we set that precedence for white women. They're trying to be like, damn, I want to get that ass like her now, because they get
lips.
attention.
You see a lot of that. I find it interesting to me that like white is considered like in spaces as more beautiful, but a lot of the things that white women do to enhance their beauty deals with the natural features of Black women, like getting work done, getting their lips plumped up or whatever, getting Botox for skin that I get naturally at 44, about to be 45.
Sun tanning.
Tanning, things like that. So it's interesting that that's a thing, but it is a thing. And then I think that kind of goes back to looking at white women like some type of status symbol. And that's unfortunate, but I think that's another reason why, since we've been on the men a whole lot, and I want to definitely talk about the fact that there is a rise in Black women who are getting with white men now, right? There's an increase in that. I see it all the time when I go out in DC now. I'm like, dang, a lot of white men with Black women. And so, and I'm thinking to myself and trying to have conversations and spaces with my friends, like, why is that? And a lot of Black women feel like, I'm not saying I personally feel like this because I don't date white men. Not that I don't think that it's a thing where I wouldn't, but I just have a preference also, and it is a Black man. But I can understand how a lot of Black women are dating outside their race because they're just tired of dating Black men for a variety of reasons. And it's kind of like Jason was saying, like where he, like right now he's in this phase where he prefers dating white women because of whatever adverse experiences he's had with dating Black women, right? I think more and more Black women are now feeling the same way. It's just taken us a lot longer because we always, like, you say what you want. Like, I feel like Black women, like, we be ride or die. Like, we stay down for our men. Now, your girl kicked you out. I just feel like you had to be doing a whole lot for a long period of time for her to get tired. That's just how I feel. Because a Black woman will stay down through the bullshit for so long until finally they just feel like, I cannot do this anymore. And it's sad because a lot of Black women are not even dating at all, aka me, because it's not that I want to step outside my race or I feel like a non-Black man is going to be better for me. I just know right now I'm sick of Black men. Like, sorry, love y'all so much. I'm never going to give up on y'all. But
I think all that's bullshit. I think number one,
you can't speak from a Black woman's perspective though, because you're not
hold on. I think number one, off the break, we shouldn't date outside of our race just in spite of. Well, this one Black guy did me dirty, or this one Black woman did me fucked up, so fuck them all. You're throwing out the water with the bathroom, right? Number two, again, I'm going to stress this. You've had a bad experience. You're going to have bad experiences in dating and in love. There is nothing that is guaranteed. Listen, I remember one time somebody said, if you buy a motorcycle, you're going to drop it at least once. And that is a 100% chance of doing that. In love, your heart will get broken. It is not because Black men are terrible or white women are bad we keep taking these heartbreaks and throwing it at the whole damn culture or race or gender. That is bullshit. Not every guy's the same, not every woman's the same.
And I think girls are more susceptible to that because men, we'll pound our head against a wall. We'll get hurt. We'll get slammed. We'll get dumped. We'll get taken advantage of. We'll be mistreated. We'll have all these things. And we'll go right back. And we'll be hurt for a little while. But we just take it.
Because y'all still want some.
But
sex?
Girls will.
That ain't, no, don't do that.
Girls will say it's a DC thing. Or, there's no good guys around DC. Or they'll say it's like race. They'll go age. They'll go, I'm only dating guys like over this age now because these guys under this age and they just create these like one size fits all because one guy in that group hurt them, whether it's an age or a height or a whatever or a sport or a job. Like, oh, I don't date real estate agents anymore because the one guy hurt them, and they'll just throw the whole baby out with the bathwater because they'll assign that category to bad. Whereas I think men are more like case by case by case by case, and sometimes to our own detriment because we don't learn our lesson.
I disagree with that wholeheartedly because men, y'all are not even as emotionally as strong as women are.
Find me a man that has said I give up on Black women.
Right now, Jason Addison.
I never said I give up.
No, he didn't.
No, he has a preference. Like, so the difference is one's a preference, which is not a choice, and one is a decision that says, like, I'm exclaiming, I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
done with plumbers. I'm done with guys that make under 100K. I'm done with guys over 6'3" because they they're all fuckboys. Like, that sort of declaration is a decision. Versus
Men don't do that. Men do not.
it's
I'm
clean
done
slate
with
every time. It's clean
right.
slate.
I'm done
Maybe
with tall
no.
women. I'm done with black women. I'm done with nah. We're not doing
I
that.
do not agree with that because y'all can't. I've heard interviews and I've talked to a lot of black men that have dated or are currently married to white women, and they do oftentimes go back to one or maybe two separate incidents where they got their feelings hurt by a black woman, and maybe they didn't consciously decide I am no longer dating black women, but maybe it was a subconscious thing because now they're associating the devastation from getting their heart broken by two black girls in their whole life to now that's the negativity that's going to come if I deal with black women. And so and I think that
when you do that, when you date another race in spite of, that's not because you got your heart broken. It's because you don't like yourself in the first place.
okay, that may be true, but I'm saying this is what they say. And then I'm a comic.
I know
I
what you're
always tell
saying.
you when I see
I know what you're saying. But that you can't use that as proof positive that men, when they get their heart broken, that's what. No, it's not because they got their heart broken. It's because they didn't like themselves in the first place. Men in general do not give up on women of any race. We just don't. It doesn't happen. If we do, it's because there's something about ourselves we do not like.
Or if we do, it lasts until we see an attractive girl from that race, and then we're like, never mind.
That part.
I think that goes both ways.
No. There are women who have literally, like you, who don't date, period.
But that doesn't mean I wouldn't date if I saw someone I was attracted to and that I
So you're dating then. You can't.
I mean,
You can't have it both ways. So either you're dating or you're not. You may not be dating somebody right now, but there's a difference between I've given up on dating and I'm just not dating somebody right now.
Okay, yeah, I would never say I'm giving up on dating altogether for the rest of my life. Like,
but you
I'm not dating.
Did, though.
Well, okay, that's not what I meant. I forgot men are like very literal. What I meant was I am currently not dating right now.
Right.
And I have no desire to date right now. But I feel like a lot of black women feel that way.
No, there are women out there who literally have given up on men, who said, I'm not dating anymore. That is bullshit. You are literally scared of something that is inevitable. You are not going to get it right the first time. Nobody got love right the first time. Very few people. That's why when somebody says, I've been with my wife since high school, that shit is like winning the Super Bowl. It's like being struck by lightning. It does not happen. You are going to get hurt.
That is true, because I've seen like a lot of girls I know or that I've dated, even after they've been hurt, they'll go through these phases where they're just like, they will literally not date for years. And I've never come across men that do that. Like, men will be like, I'm taking a break for whatever, or they'll like, they'll take like a sabbatical for like a month and then they're back on the horse. Girls will literally, they'll swear off certain categories, but they'll also just swear off dating completely. It's a protection mechanism. I understand it, but it's a very different dynamic between men and women when that happens.
I don't even think it could be a protective mechanism, but it's also saying like, I am so turned off by the idea of dating a man right now that I'm going to go years without doing that. Like, whenever y'all hear something like that, do y'all ever as men do some internal reflection and be like, damn, like women are so turned off by dealing with men, period, that they are like going years and years without sex, without dating, without, like just in their house chilling or traveling or doing whatever they do. And that always seems to be some type of reflection on the woman, like, oh, you're giving up on dating because you shouldn't or whatever. But it's like, have y'all ever stopped to look at like, what are we doing collectively as a male.
Well, you just said it collectively. You act like we have one brain and we all just
Right. We're not a monolith, Carolyn.
No, I know that, but what I'm saying, have you ever so have you ever personally thought about like how you're moving, and is that
I'll tell
negatively
you what.
impacted?
I tell you what, we'll do it when y'all do it.
See, now we collectives again. Now we
See, I
collectives
think
again.
that's the problem.
I'm asking, have you guys individually done any self-reflection within yourselves? Because Jason, and we've had these conversations, women are tired. And I be telling you my personal experiences with men, and you be like agreeing with me and understanding why I be like, ugh.
Right.
You know?
I agree with you, but that don't mean I agree with every woman that has that assessment. I've done the work. I've been doing the work. I'm going to continue to do the work. Not every man is alike, and not every woman's alike. That's why men, we will always give another woman a try.
Right. I just don't think, like, I'll look at men's behavior all the time and be like, that's ridiculous. Or I'll be
We know when we fucked up.
Yeah, and
but that's a grown ass man. He gonna do what he do.
And I'll hear stories too. It just shocks me. Like a girl will sit there at dinner, and when once she kind of gets to know me, she's like, "Man, I went on a date last week, and this guy was," and she'll tell me, and I'm just like, "What?" But do I own that? Like, I have anything to do with that? No. I'm just like, that's crazy. And I hear all these stories, and I'll acknowledge it. And there's bad feminine behavior and there's bad masculine behavior that comes from both genders. And I think men are a little more open to compartmentalizing things in general in life. But I think we kind of look at the individual thing like a new experience. We build these kind of models for how things work. Whereas I think women are more reactive to things. It's more of a survival mechanism of, I don't have time to figure out what's what. This thing's bad. I'm going to avoid that to survive. I think that's kind of where it comes from. Whereas men, I think, can be a little more like, what's the worst that can happen? I'll try this again.
Well, I think I saw something the other day that says that men are not competing. Men are now competing in terms of like dating with women and stuff with a woman's like her own self. Like I'll use myself as an example. I love my life as a single woman, right? And so if I were to date again, it would have to be like, you're not competing with these other men that are trying to date me. You would be competing with the life that I've created for myself and whether or not I want to allow you into that space, right? And I think that a lot of women have that same type of mindset.
I choose me. I choose myself.
Right, because it's more peaceful.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Let me tell you why that's also bullshit. Let me tell you why that's also bullshit.
Why has everything got to be bullshit?
No, because I've been doing a lot of thinking and reflection. I've been thinking about this.
Okay.
We talk about, I love the life that I've created for myself just on the third, right? And when you do that, you shouldn't at that point care about what other people think, what other people care about, how other people see you, etc., etc. The interesting part about this concept about when a woman says, I've created this life for myself and I'm so happy this, that, and the third, is that you're still looking for validation on social media. When you go on these trips, when you go outside this, that, and the third, you're still on camera, you're still on film, because you want people to hit that like button. You're still looking for that validation.
I don't agree with that.
Absolutely. And of course you don't agree with it.
How can you speak that? First of all,
of course you don't agree with it. But I'm telling you it's happening. Like, I'm independent. I'm independent. Look at me. I'm doing all these things for myself. Look at me while I do it.
Or do you do that?
When you are in a space where it's all about you, right, then you shouldn't care about what other people think or you showing off what you're doing to other folks. It should just be like, I'm doing this for me, right? Because that's what you're saying, for you. Why are we posting it all on social media all the time? We're posting it because we do care about what other people think about our lives. We want that validation. We want to be seen. And the one thing that when you're in a relationship, the one thing that having that one person that's not just taking care of you, but cares about you, is that one person will always see you. And that's what being in a relationship is all about. And knowing and the comfort of that relationship is that you got somebody that will always see you when maybe nobody else will. And when we understand that, what a relationship is really about, understanding that, hey, yeah, it's okay to want to be seen. That is a natural feeling. We want to be loved. We want to be cared for. We want to be seen. There's nothing wrong with that. And stop fighting and saying, you know what? Because I got my heart broke, fuck men, I'm on my independent shit. If you can't match this, then blah, blah. Nah, you playing yourself. Because we all want to be seen. That's why you go do this independent shit, but still want to be seen.
I don't disagree with basically everything that you just said. I just don't. I mean, I don't agree with any of that. And I would love to. I don't agree. I mean, I do agree that people want to be seen. I do agree with that. I do agree that a lot of people get in relationships for that validation of being seen and knowing that there's always someone that's going to see them. I do agree with that. That's all I agree with. We got to wrap up because I know our guests have to go. But there was a question posed that they would like answered on the chat. So I'm going to pose this question to Jason. When and how did you decide you wanted to date white women?
Oof, I wouldn't say like that's the question, like when and how. So when I first became attracted to white women was when I was DJing down in Panama City Beach years ago. And I used to be a hip hop DJ at the time. At the time, hip hop DJing wasn't getting me where I wanted to be, especially in the DC area. Everybody was a hip hop DJ. So went down to Panama City, got to show off my little skills. That's when I found out about the EDM, the house music, the juice, the upbeat music. And just seeing that vibe from like the folks down there at the time, like the white folks partying, that's me. Like I love to move. I love music. I love to dance. I love doing things. And like just caught a vibe, like this is where I'm at. And I'm just surrounded by, no offense, Brandon, all white folks, like just partying, having a good time. And there was one girl and she had a body of a black girl. She was just sexy as hell. And then like, damn, next thing you know, we are, yeah, but.
She had rhythm?
You say what?
She have rhythm?
Do I have river? What?
Did she have rhythm?
Oh, she had rhythm, yeah. But that's where I kind of like, damn, like I could probably get into this. This is where it's at. No, I'm not going to leave my black queens, but let me try to dip my toe in this water and see where things go. And I go back and forth. Like as we said earlier, I go with the vibe. I don't see color. Like if that vibe is there, like I got from this person down there, I'm going to be with you. Could be Arab, you can be Mexican or whatever. If that vibe's there and we're clicking, hey, I'm going to see right through that skin color of yours and just, yeah, let's do this.
And you would marry outside. Do you want to get married at some point? Oh no, that sounds like another show.
That's a whole other show.
That sounds like another show topic right there. I was just gonna ask, do you see yourself marrying outside of your race? But that sounds like a whole nother.
Yeah, that'd be a whole nother topic.
Well, we're gonna definitely have to bring you back for that. So we kind of are out of time. I want to be respectful, even though we started a little bit late. So I'm gonna give our guest an opportunity to share any final thoughts. So we'll start with Brandon, and then Jason A, you can go, and then I'll go, and then Jay will wrap us up.
Yeah, I would just say, kind of recapping what I started with, the 3 levels. I mean, you like what you like, so embrace it. Don't be apologetic for it. I think you should care less about what people think about superficial things. So if you like black girls, if you like Asian girls, if you like white girls, whatever it is, that's what you like. Don't let anything stop you. And then once you get past that surface level attraction, really focus on, do our chemistries vibe, do our lifestyles vibe. That's really important because you can find out later in life your lifestyles don't align. They like certain things that you don't like, and then there creates conflict. But most importantly, the Bible and Jesus talks about evenly yoked. I think your values for how you see the world and what you value, your finances, your family life, how you treat other people is the most important thing. And that's where you go from initial attraction to we have some good chemistry and vibes to longevity is those values. So I would encourage you to embrace that 3-step process.
Jason A, what you got?
I mean, like Brandon said, that 3-step process, but I'm not going to get as deep as he did. But I mean, I'm just like, you like who you like, you love who you love. You know, you're going to be with who you want to be with. I mean, no matter the skin color. I mean, we all are different. We all have that different thought process. You know, love processes. I mean, like I said, I love my Black queens. I love my sisters. I love my mom. I love all my Black community. But you know, it's just right now, like I said earlier, I'm dipping my toe. So I mean, I've only been dating white women for what, the past 6 years. So out of my 41 years. So I mean, it's you know, I'm not saying this is where I'm at. I'm not concrete with this. You know, this is something I'm exploring. You know, call me the explorer of the interracial dating pool right now, I guess. I mean, as me being single, that's how it is. You know, I'm chilling like you right now. I mean, it is what it is. But love who you love. Love is love.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, I've been in an interracial relationship, and I just don't think, I think a lot of times that, to J Mar's point earlier, that so much of who we love and the way we view love in and of itself is tied to our childhood experiences. And for people, and I'm just going to talk, you know, no offense to Brandon, but just like within the Black community, especially, there is trauma there. There's a lot of trauma there. And I think that when we start to focus on dealing with that trauma that we have within our community, and that's all of us, that it will help promote better relationships between Black men and Black women. You know, this show is all about Black love. That's why we started it, to kind of like promote that and see how we can do that. And there's nothing wrong with interracial dating. And if you love someone from a different race, that's fine. But at the same time, like, make sure that that's because that's who you choose, that's who your values align with, you know, that's, you know, who you are equally yoked with, as Brandon said, and not because of any past trauma or any type of things that are not truly authentic. Because, just want to throw this stat out there, interracial relationships are 10 times more likely to end in divorce, or 41% chance of ending in divorce, compared to same-sex relationships. Sorry. Okay, I'm done.
You know, I might get a little deep here. I wonder how I would feel if I was Jewish. And maybe if I was Jewish, maybe I would probably date outside my race. But would I marry outside of my or culture or religion? If I was Asian and then coming into America or growing up here and being told or being forced or being told that, you know what, you need to marry a white man or you need to marry a white woman to assimilate better or to accumulate wealth, right? Would I be thinking the same way I think now? I think the interesting thing about being Black in our culture is that we do take an approach to love that's very humanistic, right? We don't look at your religion. We don't look at the color of your skin. We don't look at all the things. We are literally about your values, your vibe, who you are as a person. And that's who you should love. I think that's difficult because within our community, the Black community, there is a responsibility that Black men should have to our Black women that kind of mirrors the Jewish community, the Asian community, the Hispanic community, right? And the fact that maybe we don't, I don't know if that's right or wrong. I struggle with that, right? Because at the core of who I am, it is about you as a person. And so I go back to that, and I think, and I'm always going to just be who I am, and really just tell people, hey, love is love. Be nice, be human, be yourself, and treat others how you want to be treated. And wherever the chips fall, that's where they fall. I don't know if going outside your race or going outside of that is right or wrong. I don't have the answer for that. But what I do know, we just need to be true to ourselves and be true to our values and be true to what we really, really want. So with that said, I want to really thank our guests who came on and braved it out. Brandon, thank you. Jason, DJ J Styles. I'm gonna come to one of your sets, man. I'm trying to come out and expand my
Yes, sir.
my my plateau here. I'm trying to get out here and do different things. To my great co-hosts, coming up with these great topics. I think we had great engagement tonight. To all the tip talents who came in and listened to this great conversation and participated, really appreciate you. We always going to bring it, the spice, but we always going to keep it nice. Again, have a great Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of the week. Love y'all. Holla.
Real quick, sorry. I mean, we can go, but I just wanted to say, DJ Styles, I want to give an opportunity to. Sorry, I thought I was trying to interrupt you, but I realized I was on mute because I was coughing and I get to finish what I was going to say.
One more hour. Let's go. I'm down.
No, not one more hour, but just real quick, we had a lot of new people on here, so I definitely want to shout out to the new people that came on. Follow us and tune in. We're here every other Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Bringing the authentic vibes, just genuine conversation. At the end of the day, it's all about love. And I definitely wanted to thank our guests. I'm sorry I didn't get an opportunity to do that earlier. Come back anytime. And then I also wanted to give you guys an opportunity to plug your businesses if you wanted to, or like where you performed, Jason, and like how people can reach out to you if they're in the market by home, like real quick. And then we can go.
The best place to find me is just on the Instagram right now, as you guys see. I post all my mixes there, my locations where I'll be mixing next. The biggest show's coming up in August. Be down in the Bahamas for my birthday, so you're more than welcome to come down.
I will be there for that too, because we're both Leos. We already talked about that. So
yes.
Oh, we need to do a tit for tat thing then.
Yes, that's how
live from the Bahamas.
Red, yup.
Brandon, over to you, sir.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to check me out, my Instagram is Real Estate Beasley. The profession's in the name, all things real estate. I say I can help you achieve your real estate dreams, whether it be just home ownership, cashing in on some property you've had for a while, or investing for the first time or for the 100th time. I'm happy to help. I got a team that spans all over the state, cover actually probably 5 states. We're in Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, DC, and we're constantly growing. So call me if you need anything or shoot me a DM.
Our tip and patterns, if you ever want to be a guest on the show, or you ever want to come on the show, or you have a topic you want us to cover, please send it in or let us know if you want to come on the show.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you. All right. Well, Jay, you want to do a last little, what you do, holla thing?
Listen, I always tell you, just be nice, show love, be humans, man. Love each other, all right? Holla!
Bye.
Good night.